Hello, today in C1Risk training, we're going to show you how you can do your self-assessment, your NIST 800-171 self-assessment that's required for CMMC preparation and certification. So this is the assessment that you'll have to submit to Spurs, the SPRS, or Supplier Performance Risk System. That's basically the portal for the DoD. And so what we're going to show you today is how you can quickly complete the assessment in the C1Risk platform, score it, manage all of your findings, and even actually print out the report that you need to submit to Spurs. Okay, so let's get into the training and off we go. Okay, so from the platform, we're going to go into our enterprise module and we're going to build the assessment from the enterprise module today. So if you're doing a self-assessment of your own company, which is how we're going to set this up today, you can bring yourself in, bring your own company in as an asset and launch the assessment from your asset here. Similarly, if you're a consultant and you're doing this in a single environment for all of your clients, you'll bring your clients in as assets. And same thing, you can launch the assessment for that client. It's completely locked down. Only the client can see it, and you, of course, but there is complete security and privacy around that. So, but we're going to do this as a company today. So we're going to go in and just go to the assessment tab here. And then note that we've already done a few assessments on ourselves here. So we have a security review that actually one of our customers wanted us to complete. We have our own annual risk assessment, and we've also done a CSF self-assessment here. So now we're going to do add new, and we'll just do our 800-171. And I'm going to grab that template. And so here we have the templates. And remember, from the administration tab, you can access all of our templates at any time. So here are the different templates that we have in our system, or I can just do a lookup and add from our main central library. So very, very simple process to add that assessment template. Schedule the due date for when we want this completed. I'm going to do this quickly as it is a training, and then assign it to the appropriate person who's going to fill this out. So when I click save here, that's going to send that assessment out. I'll actually get a notification that's going to bring me back to this page, but I'll just show you what that notification looks like. So note that it's white labeled. This would be white labeled to your company, and it just gives me that link that I can follow. That'll take me right back in and will take me directly to that assessment. I'm not going to do it from here. I'm just going to stay in this system. And then basically what we do is we're just going to go through and start to fill out these responses. So now another great thing about this system is if you're doing this yourself and you want to check a response here, note that we've got the reference point here for the actual control requirement for 800-171. So I can go into my obligations library. I can look for that specific requirement. And then in the library, what we've got is the actual requirement itself, and then all of the implementation guidance for 800-171. So that's going to help you with your responses to understand if you are properly implementing this. If you're doing compliance already in the system, you'll know that you're already collecting evidence against that as well. So again, this is just to help accelerate that assessment process for you. So, okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill out the rest of this. And so by the magic of television, now you see that this is all being completed. Note that it tracks here as I go through. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to submit this. And again, that will send a notification out to whoever's managing this assessment to let them know that a response has been accepted. And they'll be able to then come back in and see all of the responses here. And so as I'm scoring this next, what I want to do, of course, is really understand what kind of score I've got to make sure that I'm ready to submit to the SPRS and the DoD. And also I want to understand any findings that they may have so I can start managing those issues and hopefully improve on our score in a later date. So we have this great functionality with our assessments in the C1Risk platform. See, we have this create bulk finding button. All of our assessments are set up so that they have auto creation of findings available. So I can now just click create bulk finding. And that is going to highlight everywhere where I actually have a potential issue in this assessment. And so you can see that I've got a number of different questions here that I need to look at. And as I go through this, though, as well as these different findings that I've got highlighted in the system, if I see something where I'm looking at the response and I want to add it at any time, I can do that. So I can actually add an additional finding here if I want to. But let's just go through to our actual findings. We're going to go down to them. Note we can just click on the bubble to get there. So now we've got the finding name here, and we can go in and edit this if we need to, however we want to do it. And then once we're ready to go, we just want to set a due date for when that's going to be completed. That doesn't necessarily need to be fixed. That can be changed later on during the mitigation plan. And note we're starting to score here as well. So it's showing you what score you've got against this actual finding. So once we've done that, we just click save. Again, now that's tracking that we've actually responded to this, or we've actually created this finding, and we can go on to the next one. It automatically takes us to the next one here, as you can see. So again, I'm just going to go through and complete all of these. All right, so again, now you can see that all of these have been completed now. I've addressed all of these different findings. They're highlighted in blue. I've got my scores here so I can see how I'm scoring against each of them. And again, this assessment is scored by the DoD scoring methodology as well. So as this is partially implemented, the score is only 1. If it's not implemented, typically that risk score is 5. And so we want to see how many points we've got now. So what I'm going to do is just accept. And now if I go back to my details tab, again, that will send out a notification. Now I can see all of my scoring. So you can see I got 110 questions here with a maximum score. That's that full DoD score of 314 possible points. And what I've actually got is 9 findings. So only 9 findings and an answer score of 19. So that's good for SPRS. And that actually against my gives me a risk score with a rating of low. And that risk score is actually based on my own policies. So one of the things you can also do in C1Risk is you can bring in and establish your own low, medium, high, or low, medium, high, high, very high risk categories in the system by bringing in your risk policy and then just establishing in it here. And then that will trigger to connect to all of our assessments and give you that risk score based upon your own risk protocols. Last thing then is we can track all of our issues here. So now you see I've got all of my findings connected to my assessment, and I can go into each of those and start to add mitigation plans. So again, if you're doing this for your company, you're adding your own mitigation plans. If you're a consultant, you can do this on screen with your client, or you can send them all of these findings to respond to. They'll get notifications the same as we've shown you previously. For the assessment. And again, those notifications will look something like this. So we don't send you one notification for each finding. We just send you a summary of the assessment response with all of the findings in it. And then again, they can just log in and go to each of these findings, or log in here and go to that global finding list that they'll have. All right. If you don't want to do it on screen, you do have the option then of exporting this to a report. So now I can, from the details tab in this assessment, I can go up to export, and I can either export this to an Excel spreadsheet, or if I'm ready to submit this to the to Spurs, to the SPRS, I can actually export this to a PDF. And this PDF is good to submit to Spurs. Or you can add this to your SSP. You will need to have your SSP as part of this for Spurs. And this will go through and it shows me all of my sections that I've responded to, my risk score, and any findings, questions, responses, everything that I've basically answered here. So it's that full collection of information that that Spurs requires for submission. So there you're basically ready to go. So that's how we do the CMMC NIST 800-171 readiness self-assessment. on the C1Risk platform. If you have any further questions, you can contact us at support@c1risk.com, or come and visit us at our website, c1risk.com. And if you're a new customer, you can get a free trial today. Thank you very much. This concludes our training.